Welcome to the Simply Financial podcast. I'm your host, Christopher Calandra. Over the last couple of months, I've had a bunch of meetings with younger individuals, let's say 35 and under, most of them 30 and under. And during the discussions with them, I realized that the vast majority of them did not have a will in place. And I think every adult should have a will. A will is a legally binding document stating how you want your assets distributed. It can also state who you want to be your guardian or to be the guardian of your children if you should pass away. This guardianship issue is really important and I think too often overlooked. If you don't have a will, the courts, specifically the probate court, will decide everything. By the way, when somebody dies without a will, it's called intestate. So I looked recently in thinking about these meetings I had with these clients and potential clients, there was a study done recently by caring.com. It was a 2020 study. It was called 2020 Estate Planning and Wills Study. And they found that only 33% of respondents have a will. That means 67% don't, and I think that is not a good thing. People that we interact with here at Elliott Wealth Management Services, we're going to recommend they have a will. Keep in mind, we don't create wills. We're not attorneys. We would recommend people get a will, but it's not something that we handle directly. My role as a certified financial planner is not actually to execute a will, but once again, I strongly recommend that individuals get a will in place. So you need a will. Now, traditionally, you would go to an attorney. That's what I did. You can go to an attorney. A simple one will not cost too much money, but you interact with an attorney. They walk you through the process. They are very good at it, and that's a good decision. Bigger estates that have more complexity, properties in other states, children from different marriages or different partners, businesses where you have business partnerships. When you have complexity of some sort, attorneys are really good at walking you through how to set things up and carry out your wishes. Like I said, I used an attorney. I have the business. I have investment property. I wanted some trust included in my estate plan, so I used an attorney. For me, it was worth the extra cost and interacting with a law firm to carry out the execution of my will and estate plan. But I wanted to bring to your attention today that there is a less expensive and simpler way to get a will executed, and that's by using an online will maker. This is ideal for people who are single and for individuals that are married, but the key thing is that they have simple and straightforward wishes as to how they want their assets distributed and who they would want to be their guardian of their children if that's applicable. So there are a slew of online will makers. I researched this and there's a gazillion of them. I do not recommend a particular one, but I do know that there are excellent choices out there. Again, these online will makers are very inexpensive, much less expensive than an attorney, and they are quick to get executed. Some of the more common online will makers that you may have heard advertised are Nolo's Quicken Will Maker and Trust. There's U.S. Legal Wills. There's another online will maker, Trust and Will. There's Total Legal, Do Your Own Will. There's Rocket Lawyer. I see LegalZoom advertised all the time. So those are some of the common names. Again, I have not researched this thoroughly enough to have one pick that I think is the best. It might depend on your own circumstances, but I think you could, without a lot of work, find an excellent choice. Many of these have stellar reviews. There are different ranking sites that you could look at online to help you get steered to one that will make sense for you. The ones that I just mentioned, again, I'm not recommending them, but I did select them for mention because they are national. Regardless of what state you're in, you can get a will that can be executed for your particular state. Because I want you to keep in mind that wills are governed by individual state. You want to have a will that's executed in the state you reside in. As a side note, if you live in a state and you got a will in that particular state and then you move to another state, you want to make sure that that will actually is enforceable and in good order in the new state you live in. It's a common mistake you see. So the companies that I mentioned are national. There are other national firms too, but I did want to make sure that ones that I mentioned would be applicable for anybody that's listening to this show that's in the United States. Believe it or not, we do have listeners overseas. But again, this is an important issue. I think it's sad that only 33% of respondents have created a will. When there's a tragedy, when someone passes away, you want to, in my opinion, my professional opinion, you want to make things as easy as possible for the loved ones that are left behind. And if they're going to inherit assets, you want to make it as easy as possible for them to take control of those assets. So doing the right thing by getting a will in place, streamlining the process that if, God forbid, something should happen, you reduce the hassle and stress on those you leave behind, I think is a very good thing. I did that for my family. My wife and I, we did that for our family. I recommend my clients do that for their family. And for you, my listener, I suggest that for you. Either go to an attorney, a local attorney that can help you. But if your situation is very simple and straightforward and you feel comfortable doing it yourself, I think that's an excellent option. Check out some of the online will makers and you can get that done with very little cost and with a lot of ease of use. Thanks for listening to today's episode. I will be back with you on the next episode of the Simply Financial podcast very soon. I always ask, check out my website, elliottwealth.com. We're a financial planning investment advisory firm. We help clients win with money and make good financial decisions. You could check out me and the rest of the team, how we work with individuals and families. You could sign up for a complimentary consultation if you're not a client and would like to speak with us about how we might be able to help you on your financial journey. Again, thanks for listening, and I'll be back with you soon.
The views expressed are not necessarily the opinion of SagePoint Financial Incorporated and should not be construed directly or indirectly as an offer to buy or sell any securities mentioned herein. Investing is subject to risks, including loss of principal invested. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. No strategy can assure a profit nor protect against loss. Please note that individual situations can vary. Therefore, the information should be relied upon when coordinated with individual professional advice. Please note, the information being provided is strictly as a courtesy. When you link to any of the websites provided here, you are leaving this website. We make no representation as to the completeness or accuracy of the information provided at these websites, nor is the company liable for any direct or indirect technical or system issues or any consequences arising out of your access to your use of third-party technologies, websites, information, and programs made available through this website. When you access one of these websites, you are leaving our website and assume total responsibility and risk for your use of the websites you are linking to. Securities and advisory services are offered through SagePoint Financial Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Insurance services offered through Elliott Wealth Management, LLC, not affiliated with SagePoint Financial.